Howdy all, I'm Adam Renaissance Nerd, and we've got another episode of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It only gets worse. This is episode 7 of, I believe, 10. We are more than halfway through this pathetic first season, and I put quotes on that because there's 3 seasons, but it's really probably a batch order of episodes that they've cut up into seasons. But this is one of the worst adaptations of Spider-Man ever, because this Peter Parker Spider-Man, he's a wimp. He's a puss. He gets beat up constantly. He shows no improvement. And I'm saving this for what I know is coming in the next one. This isn't a Spider-Man show. It's an everybody else show. Everybody else possible, because he is not his own hero. It is the worst lesson learned from the MCU. Spider-Man, in lore, in comics, in other adaptations, be it animated or live action, he's his own hero. He doesn't really need anybody else. Sometimes team-ups become a little necessary, but he is his own man who solves his own problems. Isn't constantly going, Mr. Stark, Mr. Osborn, help me, save me. That's not Spider-Man. That's not Peter Parker. But this one can't do shit. Can't do shit. And I'm going to show you how. I know I failed last time. We didn't get in under 10 minutes. We're probably not going to get in under 10 minutes this time, but we're going to try really, really hard. Let's get in there. It's the day after PD has told Nico that he's Spider-Man, or she found out, and she won't talk to him. She runs away from him at school. I don't want to talk to you, Peter. And as she storms off and walks away, Peter's going to stop and see ethically ambiguous Pearl sitting on the steps of the front of the school being all sad and mopey. They're going to have a conversation about how people keep secrets to protect others, because she's like, hey, Pete, what's wrong? What's wrong with a dynamic duo? The dynamic duo that's been friends for 6 months? They've been friends for 6 months. They keep trying to tell us, between Nico and others, that, oh my God, they've been friends for so long. They're besties. They've known each other for 6 months. Now, granted, people can be friends in 6 months, but you can't talk like you have ages of lore and backstory for your relationship when you've only known each other for 6 months. I guess this is written by people who don't know what real relationships are like, what real friendships are like, and what it means to actually be friends for a long time and only be friends for a little while. Because that's part of the stink of this. Nico's so upset that Peter hasn't told her his secret on Spider-Man. Bitch, he's only known you for 6 months. He doesn't really know you. You don't know everything about him. He doesn't know everything about you. So he's not going to tell you everything. And also, even this moronic Peter knows that you do not tell everybody your secret identity, because it puts them in danger. And he tries to explain that to Pearl, who's upset that Baby Tombstone hadn't been around and he won't tell her what's going on. And she has to go, it's my choice to know what I can handle and can't handle. The women in this show are dumb. Dumb as bricks. But they have to have their agency, and they're all diverse, so shut up, white boy. That's what it is, basically. Right, so Peter's going to tell her that she's great and she's wonderful, and don't worry, he's here for her. He's still hitting on her. She is in the middle of a breakup, and he's hitting on her. Retarded. And then he's going to leave, goofily, go to Oscorp, and she's going to get a text from Baby Tombstone's little brother, and he's going to tell her where he is. And then we're going to come back to her and Baby Tombstone later, because it actually ties in to the Spider-Man plot of the episode. And I say that because there are 2 parts to this episode. There's some stuff which sort of centers around Peter Parker Spider-Man. And then there's literally more than half the episode devoted to bitch Nico and Pretty Boy Harry. So Pretty Boy Harry goes to Nico's house to apologize, try and make friends. She comes out eventually after her stepmother, her foster mother, whatever it is, foster mother. It's like, Nico, somebody's here. He goes, he's so cute. Bitch, she's gay. You know she's gay. She ain't straight. She said as much earlier in the season. So they're going to go out, and Harry's going to bribe her to go eat, and she says, oh, well, fine, you spend all your money to bribe people with food. She's just a complete and utter bitch. So we're going to talk about their bullshit, which literally cuts away from actual Spider-Man action to focus on them for longer periods of time. That's how dumb, how poorly written, how poorly paced and designed and structured this episode is. So they're going to end up on a rooftop. He buys her some pizza, and it's this pointless conversation of why can't we be friends? It's more of the I'm not here to steal Peter from you. It's more of that bullshit. And it's boring, and it's pointless. And Nico still is a continual bitch about, you're such a pretty boy. You're such a rich guy. Do you understand this and that? And it eventually leads to her sort of understanding she's a bitch. And then Harry's actually, as I said last episode, he's a nice guy. He's not a bad dude. He's a pretty boy and a effeminate-looking dude, but he's still a nice guy. I can give him that much. And he says, listen, why don't I teach you to drive? Because she comments on the car, and she says, I can't drive, so I'll teach you to drive. So we go through this whole sequence where he's teaching her to drive, and then they get challenged to a race by some bratty bitch in a sports car that's all fitted out for street racing, and they have people on the sidewalk who notice it, get involved, and this and that. It's also, and this whole thing is done so that, one, Harry can praise Nico for being so awesome, but two, so we can get a brief half second that there's something magical about Nico's medallion she wears all the time. All of this to get to that. Done in a poor way while he's just affirming how awesome she is, how great she is. And then he finally takes her home. Meanwhile, as I said, cutting away from actual Spider-Man action during the show so they can talk and moan and groan at each other, where they finally come to terms and maybe they can be friends. She says, oh, you're not such a bad guy. He says, yeah, I know, I'm a pretty boy and I'm not such a bad guy. It's so boring, it's so lame, and it eats up more than half the episode. This is MCU modern day. That's what we got. Bullshit. Right, so meanwhile, Petey swings into Oscorp, and they're now trying to figure out where Dr. Octavius is, and after a bunch of stupid back and forth trying to show that, look, Peter is smart, he knows these things, he knows how to track and science this stuff, even taking a shot at Sam Raimi's Spider-Man when he suggests solar energy, and Norman has to go, oh, he's not smart enough to harness the power of the sun. They finally decide that he's actually working with gamma radiation, which is something that Dr. Octavius has never done in any lore as far as I'm aware of. I'm not perfect on my Ock lore, but I'm pretty sure he's not about gamma radiation. This ain't freaking Bruce Banner and that shit. So they decide to track him for use of gamma throughout the city, and they find a big major source that's tearing its way through the city. Oh, I wonder what it is. Could it be the Scorpion on his way to the gang hideout where Baby Tombstone is? Because that's what it is. So Peter suits up and swings off with Norman in his ear, and we're going to now get to the Baby Tombstone hideout, and he has a moment where he lies to his mom, and Big Don's like, oh, don't worry. Nobody make fun of him talking to his mom and tell his mom he loves her, blah, blah, blah. Until then, here comes Scorpion. Scorpion busts in. And this has to be one of the lamest ass Scorpion get-ups I've ever seen. It's just a vest with the tail on the back. And it's all just bionic shit. There's no Scorpion poison. There's no Scorpion acid. None of the shit that kind of goes with the Scorpion. It's just the bionics and the gamma radiation. And he's got a couple of little booty sandals on his feet. He's got a tiny little knee pad. And I mentioned that because we're going to come back to that in a little bit on how retarded this whole upcoming fight is. And so Scorpion's going to trash the place. He's actually going to kill a guy with his tail. And then while he's beating everybody up, oh, I forgot Pearl showed up. Pearl showed up to yell at Baby Tombstone, and then Scorpion attacked. Sorry about that. It's so insignificant, it's dumb. Because then here comes Spider-Man! Now, I know I've been saying, where is Spider-Man when these supervillains are beefing with each other? Well, Adam, here he is. But guess what? It's nothing to do with him. He just shows up because Norman pointed him in this direction. Peter didn't do anything to actually earn what's about to happen. It's all due to other people, and that's kind of becoming the theme of this whole show. Peter does everything because other people point him in directions, steer him, guide him, mold him. He is not his own man. So a fight breaks out. Now, and mind you, look at the Scorpion. Again, it's just a vest. His arms are open. His head is open. He's nothing. He's got no real full coverage. He's not in full Scorpion armor here. He's got open points that Pete could take advantage of. But no, this Peter Parker, this Spider-Man, just as I've been pointing out for multiple times in this season, he just likes to web things and swing around. He doesn't actually fight. They don't let him fight. It's crap. It's boring, and it's pathetic. And then now their whole design of this comes to bite them in the ass because they have, and maybe they did it on purpose. Maybe as I say this, they did this on purpose to show how weak he is, which is not what you should be doing. It is not how you should portray Spider-Man. So the fight swings around this and that, and with Norman in his ear giving him advice while Norman's only half paying attention because he's hunting down Otto through the city, Peter eventually webs up Scorpion completely. And he's like, yay, I won, but oh no, I'm out of web fluid. Now, why don't you have backup? Because, actual real Spider-Man on his belt always has other tubes of web fluid. So when he's done, he can always refill. He's never out. Okay? But this guy runs out. And what happens? Scorpion channels the gamma radiation through the armor vest and he breaks free and he proceeds to beat the shit out of this Spider-Man. So once again, Peter Parker gets the shit beat out of him in this series. He's learned nothing. He's incapable of doing this as the superhero job. He can't do it because he hasn't earned anything. He's had everybody else propping him up. So he literally gets the shit beat out of him, and what happens is after an exchange, Scorpion gets an opening and he knees him in the head with the tiny little knee pad is enough to bust this super Oscorp suit open. And then Pete can only half see. He can't do anything. And then after another feint, Scorpion uses an opening to stab him through the chest with the tail. And now I've seen people going to stands going, oh my God, how hardcore. Wow, I didn't think Disney would have the balls to do this. This is nothing. This is normal. This is shit you see all the time in real Spider-Man stuff. An actual fight. But in an actual fight, Pete gets knocked down and gets back up and wins. But no, this Peter Parker Spider-Man gets pounded into the ground because he's a little baby boy. He has no nothing. Incapable of doing anything, busy going, Mr. Osborn, help me. He's literally going, Mr. Osborn, help. Mr. Osborn, help. And finally, Norman gets alerted to the damage to the suit. He finds out what's going on, and he sends what is very obviously a future Green Goblin glider to rescue Peter. So Pete, Spider-Man, with his Spider-Man reflexes and abilities, can't get through the Scorpion's defense, but a glider that he sees coming is enough to slam him in the face with smoke and a ramming. And then Peter grabs on and gets out of it. So this shows you these people have no idea how to choreograph a superhero fight. They have no idea how Spider-Man works, how he would actually be in a fight against the Scorpion. Also, this isn't how the Scorpion even fights. It's more than just the tail. It's swinging around on the tail. It's not just like that. This show is pathetic. It's written by people who do not understand Spider-Man, who do not understand his villains. And this is sad because now, after all this, now the Scorpion is angry at Spider-Man. So now the Scorpion has beef with Spider-Man, even though he just showed up for the fight. It's just such shallow storytelling. It is. And I know people are saying, oh, Adam, you got it. Spider-Man and Scorpion, they're now beefing. But it's done in such a ham-fisted way. There's no engagement. I'm not caring. In fact, I kind of want the Scorpion to win. Because This Peter Parker sucks. He is not Spider-Man. And anybody praising him as Spider-Man, like, oh man, I saw somebody say, this was his first real loss. Bitch, he been losing for 7 episodes. And he only wins when other people help him. But we're done. We're over. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I got to go watch Black Falcon Captain America now, okay? I got to suffer that dog shit. So we're done with this for another day. Thank you for watching this review. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Until then, take it easy. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.